look at this. Someone's like, there's a werewolf outside. You're like, oh, cool, it's gonna be a wolf. And this thing shows up. No, no, I no. It's cute and terrifying. Oof. Oh, I just saw it was a little sheep. It's chasing this little sheep. Oh, it's got a little sheep. One of the sheep's dead. Alright. One story that I started, and maybe we'll read some of this. One story that I started reading that I've got my doubts about in some fields is this Hunter's Guild. Yeah, let's pull it up. It is the hot new thing. I keep seeing people tweeting about it, but the art I think is really cool. It is. I mean, okay, so here's our first page, and this person, this lead character, her head is her boobs are bigger than her head, and this is your first panel. Like that. I hope my sigh gets picked up on mic well enough for when I see something like this. Somehow this picture looks better proportioned, but like this right here is just, this looks like, yeah, thank you. This looks like, oh shoot, what is his name? This is, there it is, thank God. If I couldn't find it off that search result, I was going to have troubles. This is Rob Liefeld's like Captain America. Which like the proportions are broken, and like I just did the same photo. So to find this, I searched Captain America buff chest, and it worked. And so like I know that these proportions, unfortunately, like the anatomy is probably slightly better in this, but like barely. But one thing I like, I mean, in general, let me find just get a little character shot here. I like this art style a lot. It is wildly clear. You can see the influence of My Hero Academia written all over this. I mean, this is like Deku's look, and I've got no problems with that. And some people are like, oh my gosh, they're copying. Like, that is just what happens. You see influence. You can track a lot of series backwards and see what influenced them. I really like these. Just the character expressions, eyes, faces. So I'd be curious to know, is this written by like an old assistant of My Hero Academia, maybe? I've read the first chapter already. Essentially, this is a kid. You got a nice younger protagonist. I feel like we're missing these. I feel like protagonists are aging up a little bit. A younger protagonist who wants to take care of his village. There's a werewolf who's been eating villagers. We're talking a little bit about hunters. We've got this mayor character who has decided to hire someone from the Hunters Guild, and they go, oh my gosh, it's so expensive. The hunters, they rob you blind of your money. And so then the Hunters Guild sends this character Grim, which I think Grim is just a great name. You get a lot of homage in character names in manga that I'm just a fan of. You're doing Red Hood, Monsters, Hunter Guild, like the Brothers Grimm thing. Name your character Grim. Cool, great. So they send this little girl from the Hunters Guild, and you're like, oh, what's going on there? And again, unfortunately, knowing that first page, I'm like, I've got some thoughts about where this is going with her. A lot of world building dialogue. I didn't feel. Skimming through these pages right now, I'm seeing it, like how much of this is text, but I didn't feel slow when I was reading it. So yeah, standard affair. They're off to look for the werewolf together. I mean, like, this is cool. This is a little. We've got little title hunter's tools. We got a little hound's muzzle. It's like a shotgun with a dog's like mouth on it, mouth and nose. It can smell things, so it like has the scent. It tracks scents. And then also speaks to you about them, and I'm just like, that's just clever, fun, weird stuff. Like, I think it kind of excites me about the series is like you very much have a world, right? We've got this Hunters Guild. We know that they are really talented. We know that they go around like challenging things. They send this little girl, and you're like, that's unexpected. Surprise, surprise. There's an old woman earlier in the story. I'm spoiling this for anyone who's spoiler alert. Old woman earlier in the story, and immediately when she's like, the werewolf's in town, I'm like, it's this old lady who got a moment in the book. Like, she's definitely her. She's hanging out in this doorway. Gotta zoom in more here. Hanging out in this doorway. Yeah, you're a werewolf. And she says, oh, the werewolf jumped out the window, and he's like, wait a second, there's these spiderwebs there. So you got a smart protagonist. He catches something. Like, that's a good just character trait. And like, I mean, here's a good tense page. Granny, you sure the werewolf went through the window? Of course. And it's like, okay, well, you just said yes. And now it's like this emotion on his face, this nervousness, this doubt. And while he's feeling that way, our hunter is like getting ready because she's made the connection. It's just good tension. And here is like a page turn. This is your werewolf? Terrifying. You have every image of the werewolf earlier in the book is your like stereotypical Brothers Grimm werewolf, and this is like this weird. It's got her face. It's got triple mouth thing. Or I guess those are maybe ears. Yeah, it's multiple legs. Like, very creepy. Yeah, oh, absolutely, right? Like the fact that you're like, what exactly am I looking at? Like there's traits, right? You know you see her mouth and her other eye and maybe her eye open and some of her hair, but that's a tongue and like you're like, oh, like it's got 4 legs. Oh no, it's got at least 5 legs. How many like there's it's wildly creepy. And then of course, here's surprising no one. She is transformed into a full-grown woman. Sure. There's the sigh again. It is what it is. What it is. They haven't explained it yet. I doubt there's a good explanation, frankly. Just start her that way. I don't. Maybe she's young. It's because whichever age you throw her in later, I don't like it. It makes me. It's weird. Scared that it is so she can have a romantic storyline with the main character and still be hot. Like, yeah, it's definitely like a weird combo where it's like now they're the same age, but also, I don't. And back to horror. So we've got the thing, and then it's like head closes on itself. So now it's like this puppy, but also terrifying. Like you still get the multiple limbs and the weird tongue, but like it's like wrapped itself. But like in the whole, it's some good monster creepiness. Yeah, they get away, and then he feels sad, and then she's like, "No, I used to like, yada yada yada." And then there's a good old. I'll read one line here. Goodness, why are my hands so large? You ask. All the better to grab you. And I think like just that turn of that phrase is really good. And then we get this full on just like monster thing. And she does get eaten, but then I think it blows it up from the inside, and he also like tries to attack it. There's some plot. It's good creepiness. Just like again, I really dig the art in this. All your shonen characters, you should be able to say what they want to do in like a sentence. I'll protect with all my strength. Done. There you go. He wants to protect people. Easy. No more, no less. Meanwhile, our hunter had like left a bomb in a basket. This panel, again, proportions, bodies, all that aside, I think it's a good demonstration of your pose is your character, your like angle is your character, and so like he's falling apart away from this explosion, and then of course just like she's acting cool. It's all it's business. So this is the story. I'm gonna skip. I think I read chapter 2. I'm gonna try to skim this. Ooh, also these colors, great color page. You never see things this color. We've got 2 more werewolves we see, and we're not gonna spend too long on this. Look at this. Someone's like, there's a werewolf outside. You're like, oh cool, it's gonna be a wolf. And this thing shows up? No. No. It's cute and terrifying. Oof. Oh, I just saw it's this little sheep. It's chasing this little sheep. Oh, it's got a little sheep. The little sheep's dead. Alright. Anyhow, they show up. It's a whole thing. And that's the chapter. They go back to the same town and kill off 2 more werewolves. And, shout out to the like Lo-Fi girl. They just let you use their music for free and encourage you to like have it on monetized videos and stuff. All you gotta do is just credit them, so it's like credited in my description, and I'll give them a little shout out. But like, it's nice to just have background music and not have to worry about it, and have it be like, I don't know, lo-fi beats, great stuff. Thanks. I kind of like this. So there's a part in the first chapter or like second chapter where she like pulls him up by his collar, and of course she's like 5 feet taller than him. And he grabs her collar here, and I don't know if they're on a hill or if he jumped. We don't see their feet. Maybe they're on a hill? They're on a hill, but in the other direction. That doesn't, again, I don't really care. Like, these are the sort of things I'm not gonna like, oh wow, how dare they? I just think it's, who cares, and just pull off the emotion you need. Yeah, she pulls him off and drops him. Still, it's very silly. He jumps up and then grabs her collar and somehow is above her, and it's great. Very silly. Other small detail. Before she like changed size, there was like a click on something on her leg, and seeing this I see a little clock, and I'm wondering if she's got like a little time thing on it. So the gross body stuff aside, at least it looks like her power has like a time limit or limiter, and so again, rules are great. Here's who the rule is. Curiosity pervades. The rifle is called a Chekhov series. Like, it's a sort of thing that you write that for adults, and you're like, okay, but like you're writing this for like teenagers and younger kids. Like, teach them this stuff. Like, hide these things in there so that they embarrassingly bring it up in English class later. If you don't know, Chekhov's gun is a like literary rule trope, whatever, from the playwright Anton Essentially says if you have a gun on stage in your first scene or in your first act, it must go off in the third act or by the third act, right? It's you know everything in your story needs to have a purpose. Do not, and it's not necessarily about guns. It's very much just like lay your traps early. By naming this gun, a Chekhov series gun, it would imply that it goes off. But I think it also kind of gets to subvert it by saying we expect this gun to go off. So now what will happen? Yeah, I want to finish this chapter now because of this. I need to see this gun. I need to see what happens with this gun. It looks like I forgot. I assumed that this werewolf was killed in the last chapter, so I am gonna have to spoil it a little bit. There are two werewolves. One is outside wreaking havoc. Everyone else gathers inside a barn, and so the other werewolf is hiding in human form inside the barn. And of course, our main character, Valau, recognizes him right away because he knows everyone in his town, and he's like, "Yo, you're the werewolf," and it's like, "You got me." Oh, look at this. Look at how creepy that is. The like half transition, and considering that you like read things right to like it's you're seeing it. Oh, what a good neck twist. Ugh. I don't know if I call. I mean, definitely horror, but just like the monster creation of this is very solid. And if you're gonna hunt monsters, you gotta be able to do that. Now this is fascinating. Oh, I love this. We're talking about Chekhov's gun here. Werewolf boy about to hit him. He pulls the trigger. Like we see this like mid-action shot. We get a page turn and we get this explosion, and so you're like, oh, did he shoot it? And then we see him on the ground, and this guy like standing. So it's the gun did not fire, but again, we're waiting for this gun. It's great. Oh, okay, this is great. So chapter 1, his innate trait is I have to protect people, and literally these werewolf brothers, the one werewolf is about to attack the other one, and his like gut reaction is to save this other werewolf, to protect someone. Like moments ago he wasn't willing to shoot, he wanted to lead it away, and that draws him to action. And like, look, you can't write better character moments than that. Oh man, y'all gotta read this chapter. I was surprised when we fought a werewolf in chapter 1. I was like, are we gonna fight werewolves in every chapter? But they're giving us a little bit of like magic system rules and how they work. And like you go from you can't shoot one to and so first of all, some more great creepy art, and then he's essentially a Super Saiyan, and talking about how Saiyans, when they get hurt, their muscles grow back, and their muscles grow back stronger, and the fibers rip. And then he just goes ahead, this cocky werewolf, talking about how you kill a werewolf is you grab its heart, and he grabs his little brother's heart, and like this little sad werewolf, you kidding me? It's so cute now, and then it's killed. I guess you give us those cute ones so that you can kind of sympathize with them. He sees that happen, and of course it drives him up. Hooks on hooks on hooks. You know, how do you stand out in a world of 100 action series and similar main characters? And he gets his advice of give up on the righteous anger nonsense. It serves no purpose. You're not a hero. You're not concerned about justice. A hunt is a battle of wits between you and your prey. Whether or not that's true, whether or not that's what the series does. Started talking about this series in terms of art reference, right? And like, look, this character is Midoriya to a T. It is the same structure, face. We get a lot of that. Some of the environments, of course, are different, and some of the other art in the mix is different, but we've very similar character model archetypes. But if we like look at the long history of Shonen series, and like action series and hero series and whatever he wants to do. I mean, his main purpose, I want to protect people, is pretty typical common standard. But this idea that she says here, give up on the righteous anger nonsense, it serves no purpose now. I mean, like, and you go back in the history of Shonen series, you look at something like Dragon Ball Z, where like Goku is nothing but righteous anger. He also wants to protect his friends, but he just gets mad, right? Like that is his gut reaction. And I think it works for a long time. Right, and like Dragon Ball Z is still Dragon Ball Super is now running. It's doing something. I haven't read it in a while, but who knows? To stand out, you need a little bit something more on top of it. You need a little bit more nuance to it. I think one of the things I really like about Jujutsu Kaisen, there's that scene where he's fighting the puppet, But then the principal's like, why do you want to come to school? And just keeps beating the crap out of him again and again and again until he kind of like gets to his core purpose, which is like, I want to save people because my grandpa told me to. No, that's not a good enough reason. I want to save people because it's the right thing to do. No, that's not a good enough reason. I, don't want to live with regrets. No, that's not a good enough reason, but you're getting close. And it like ends with this sort of principle of, it's like, I don't want to die with regrets kind of thing. Like, it's a very selfish, if I've died and I haven't done enough, I'm going to hate myself for it. And so like, it just, again, a little bit of something extra on top of that, because at the end of the day, it is an action manga. It's gonna have whatever depth it's gonna have. But I just like, I like that we're mixing these up a little bit in the last few years. So this thing being, you can't just run in angry. You've gotta think through it. Staying calm and think. Observe your surroundings. Now it's when you become a hunter. I just like that a little shift on this. I am gonna call it here. It's the end of it. I haven't seen this gun go off, which look, you got a weekly comic. You want me to come back next week? I want to see that gun go off. I like the world. I love the art. I think the tools are cool. I think the monsters are perfect. I think the young girl who turns into an old woman so she can be sexy, it's problematic. And I look forward to see what bullshit excuse they have for that. Fine. But yeah, I'll definitely read more. That is truly, I think, the compromise of reading a lot of popular manga. And it's tough. We don't, in the US, English translated manga, we don't get a full picture of what's out there. Culture stuff, all that side differences, like what gets filtered through, what gets brought across. There's always gonna be some lenses attached to that, so it's hard to be like, it's hard to make judgment calls, but this is what it all is, or this was not what it all isn't. Definitely have to hold my tongue when I read a lot of manga sometimes, and it's unfortunate. Which is why I like reading things like Blue Box. I'm like, this is nice. Look at this respectful conversation we're having. How great. And surprise, surprise, you can still show your characters being like cute. I don't know.